This video is about the waves of EEG, as previous video was about the brief introduction of the EEG. So let's see again first briefly about what is EEG and then what are the different waves of the EEG. That EEG records different types of waves in different conditions. So what is electroencephalography? Electroencephalography is the study of the electrical activities of brain. As brain, the study of the brain is a complicated process as compared to the study of a single nerve fiber or neuron. As inside the brain is made up of neurons and nerve cells, so neurons communicate to each other through nerve impulse transmission. So these nerve impulse transmission are recorded by electrical activities and then represented in the form of a graphical representation. So electroencephalogram or EEG is basically the graphical recording of these electrical activities of the brain. So electroencephalogram or EEG, the metal rods are placed on the different positions of the skull or the brain of the patient, and then through these electrical wiring, they are connected to an amplifier through which these activities of the brain or a nerve impulse transmission are these activities are recorded in the form of a graph. So these graphical representations basically tells about the activities of the brain. So by these waves, the physician can decide whether the brain or the nerve impulse transmission are normal or abnormal, or what type of disease or abnormality is present. So on the basis of this graphical representation, the interpretations are based and these are further processed for further interventions. So what are the different types of waves that are recorded on the graphical recording? So this electroencephalogram or EEG, it provides the different types of graphs that it provides the different waves can be observed in different conditions. So what are these different waves that are observed in different conditions? So basically, the two types of waves can be observed by the EEG. They are synchronized waves and desynchronized waves. So on the basis of these waves, they these waves are assessed, or these are can be taken in different conditions or in different abnormalities or different activities of the brain. So there are two types of waves: synchronized waves and desynchronized waves. So what are synchronized waves? And as you can see here, the synchronized waves, these are regular and invariant waves. So all the waves are regular, these must be similar, and these are not different. So synchronized waves are basically regular and invariant waves. While the desynchronized waves, as you can see here, they are irregular and variant. So these desynchronized waves may be irregular and these may be different from each other. So there are different types of rhythms or waves that are recorded by the EEG electroencephalogram. There are four different types of waves that are observed in different conditions. These are alpha rhythm, beta rhythm, delta rhythm, and theta waves. So now let's see what are these waves and in which conditions or in which activities these types of waves can be recorded by the EEG. So alpha rhythm or alpha waves, as you can see here, these alpha rhythms are rhythmical waves, that these all are regular waves, and these have the frequency of about 8 to 12 waves per second. As you can see here, in 1 second, the number of waves would be between 8 to 12 waves per second. And the amplitude of the waves is about 50 microvolts. So the amplitude or the height of the waves can reach up to 50 microvolt. And these waves are synchronized waves. As you can see, synchronized are regular and invariant waves. So in which conditions these alpha waves can be observed? These alpha waves are obtained in certain conditions which are related to, like, when the person is asleep or in the resting state. In the resting state, the alpha waves can be obtained. These are inattentive brain or These are obtained when in case the brain is in inactive state. So in case of drowsiness, these waves can be obtained in case of light sleep and in case of closed eyes. So these waves will disappear when the eyes are opened. So in case of when eyes are opened, the alpha waves cannot be obtained. So the other are the alpha block, which is opposite to that of the alpha rhythm or the alpha waves. Alpha block is basically are the desynchronized waves. As you can see, these are irregular and variant waves. So how the alpha waves are basically obtained. So alpha waves are have the low voltage. As you can see, they have the low voltage, low amplitude, and these can be obtained when the eyes are opened. So the desynchronized waves, these does not have the specific frequency. That's their number can be variant. That their numbers vary. So that's why these desynchronized waves are irregular and variant, because their number can be varied and they cannot be specifically measured. So these alpha block, these are basically when these alpha waves convert into the when the eyes are open, these alpha waves or the synchronized waves becomes desynchronized waves. And these types of alpha block waves, they are observed or recorded in which conditions? They are basically observed during some sensory stimulations or some mental concentration. In these conditions, the alpha block can be recorded by the EEG, like, so for example, in case of some arithmetic problems, these types of waves can be obtained. What are the other type of waves are the beta waves. So as you can see, the beta waves, they have increased frequency as compared to that of the alpha wave. So the beta waves have a frequency of 15 to 60 per second. So the beta waves, there are increased number of, you can see, waves. So it means that frequency is indicates the number of waves. So there are 15 to 60 waves per second. And what is the amplitude? Amplitude is less as compared to the alpha waves. It is 5 to 10 microvolts. Okay, so it has the amplitude or the height of 5 to 10 microvolts. And these are the desynchronized waves. As you can see, the number can vary. They are variant and they are irregular. They are irregular and variant, so these beta waves are desynchronized waves. So in which conditions the beta waves can be observed or recorded by the electroencephalogram EEG? These conditions include some mental activity or during mental tension or some arousal state. And these can also be obtained in some conscious activity, like by problem solving during fear. And during problem solving and during fear, these waves, the frequency can reach up to as high as 30 to 100 per second. Waves can also be measured in case of some problem solving and some fear activities. These frequency may be increased. So these are the beta waves. The other type of wave is the delta rhythm or the delta waves. So as you can see, these delta waves, these have frequency may be low. Okay, so these have the low frequency and also low amplitude. Okay, so frequency, how much numbers? As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 number of waves. So these delta waves have very low frequency. So these frequency may be range from 1 to 5 um, waves per second, and the amplitude is 20 to 200 micro voltage. Amplitude may be obtained for the delta rhythm. So in which conditions these types of waves can be obtained or observed by the EEG? These types of waves can be obtained in early childhood. In children's, these waves can be obtained on waking hours when the child is awake. These type of waves can be recorded, and in adults, when the adult is in deep sleep, then these waves are taken. So these waves basically are associated with some pathological conditions, and these pathological conditions of the brain, such as in case of tumors, these delta waves can be taken up by the EEG, can be seen on the EEG in case of epilepsy, in case of increased intracranial pressure, in case of mental deficiency, or some psychological disorders like depression. So these diseases are associated with these delta rhythm can be observed on EEG. So when the delta waves are recorded by the EEG, these would be the indication of one of these pathological processes in the brain. So they are further processed according to the other related conditions. The other wave is the theta wave or the theta rhythm. So theta rhythm, they are mostly observed in children's, like below the age of 5 years. And these also have the low frequency and the low voltage waves. How much frequency? It may be range from 4 to 8 waves per second can be observed, and the amplitude is very low voltage, very low amplitude. So it's about 10 micrometer volt, 10 micron volt. So this is for the theta rhythm, which is observed in children below the age of 5 years. So these are the different type of waves that are recorded by the EEG, and according